part of the Linux Foundation Europe, and therefore it is the LFA policies apply to this project. In this text that will be present in the minutes of this meeting, you can find a link to the Linux Foundation Europe and the related policies. The next TSC meeting will be held on the 22nd of February, and you will receive an invitation to this meeting. Before starting with the introduction, I will ask if there are participants in this meeting that are not board members, and if they want to say something about their company.
Hi, I am from Dell Technologies, and I'm attending meeting on behalf of Dell.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay,
Yes,
this
same
is
for me.
Joe.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. From Huawei.
Huawei, okay.
Frederick Tepo, also from Dell.
Okay. Any other company? Okay, thank you very much. So let's start with the content of our meeting. If you are new to the Sylva project, here there is a list of the documents that present the objectives and the organization of the project. We have a white paper that describes why this project was funded. There is a technical charter that details all the rule of the governance. Then we have the governance README. And then, of course, the Slack space and the place where you can create issues. Then we have a link to the wiki where we put the minutes of the different TSCs. And then we periodically have onboarding sessions dedicated to potential new partners. In particular, the next onboarding session will be held on the 1st of February. Sorry, the last onboarding session was held on the 1st of February, and we had the participation of some companies that were interested in understanding a little bit better the content of Sylva, and you have here a list of these companies. We plan to have another onboarding session on the 1st of March, following a presentation of the Sylva project during the board of GSMA that is planned on the 27th of February. Another interesting news is that we started some discussion with other open source projects that have topics that are in some way related to the objectives of Sylva. And in particular, some initial discussion is in progress with the Nefio project. As a result of this discussion, we plan to have a first proposal for the integration of the activities between Sylva and Nefio for the next TSC that will be held on the 22nd of February or in the next one. The Sylva project submitted a proposal to the call-off paper of the Telco Day of the KubeCon conference, This paper was submitted by Guillaume and Mathieu and propose an introduction of Sylva and some information about the first public release of the stack, and probably also a demonstration on that. Another point is that on the 2nd of February, we had a meeting with the CEO of Linux Foundation Europe, Gabriele Columbro. He told us that they really want to support the communication of this project, and one person from the marketing of Linux Foundation Europe will be probably join directly the work group of Sylva on communication. And the final point is about the contributed license agreement. The CLA was approved by all the TSC member, and now the CLA has been added to the Easy CLA tool provided by the Linux Foundation. But we will have more detail on this point at the end of the meeting in the governance working group.
Giuseppe?
Yes,
Excuse
please.
me. Can we go through the CLA topic now at the beginning of the meeting? Because we have William with us today, and he will have to leave after. So he can present, if you want, the process to sign for all company the CLA on the Easy CLA tool of the Linux Foundation. So yes, at the end of the minutes, you will find the process. So,
okay, the process is described here. You will find these in the minutes. So please, let's describe it.
Okay, perfect. Maybe I can try to share my screen. Hello, everyone. In order to show how you need to proceed with this signing of the CLA, let me share my screen. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is the ECCLA tool provided by the Linux Foundation in order to sign the different CLAs that you have. In order to sign a new CLA, you have to request your CLA manager who access this tool. So in this case, I'm the CLA manager for Orange, so I have access to this tool. So this tool, when you go to the CLA for your company, you have to look for Sylva new project, which is this one. And then when you choose Sylva EC CLA, you have the CLA that you need to sign. And for that, you need an authorized contact in your company that is have to sign this CLA. So in this case, is our legal team, Orange legal team. So I cannot sign this directly, but I can show you how proceed. So in this case, if I am not the responsible to sign this CLA, I can send an invitation to this contact. In this case, the name and the email address to contact the legal or the IPL. I don't know how your company is organized, and submit the request to sign this CLA. So this is one way to proceed. The other way is if you are authorized to sign this CLA, you proceed with yes in this case. So the tool will generate a document. So this is the CLA that when I choose the proceed with signing, I can choose no one other time and have the same message. I can contact the legal team or the other person who is responsible for this part, or I can continue with the signing of this document. In this case, when I proceed with that, a document is generated. So I already generate a document, which is this one, and is automatically pre-filled with my name in this case, because I proceed with a signature. But yeah, if you are not authorized to sign this CLA, you need to contact your legal team. So this is only an example how to proceed on this CLA signature. Another way is to contact directly the CLA people, so generate a ticket on the tool in order to provide directly the document signed. Not necessary to proceed with the with this DocuSign procedure, but to fill manually this document and provide this by a ticket to the Linux Foundation directly. So this is two ways to proceed with the signature of the CLA. Okay. So any question?
Thank you very much, William.
You're welcome.
So now the very first step to contribute to the project for each company is to sign this this corporate contributor license agreement, and then the contributors registered in the EasyCLA tool for each company will be able to contribute on the GitLab repository.
I have one question. This is Luis Velarde from Telefónica. So the person who initiates the process needs to have a Linux Foundation account, but the person who is going to actually receive the DocuSign that you saw there doesn't need to have an account, no? When I complete the process and I indicate the email of the person within the legal team that is going to actually sign, he will receive somehow a link to a DocuSign, but doesn't need to be to have an account within LNF, right?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Easier.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Is there any other question on this topic on CLA? So thank you very much, William. We can return to the main part of this TSC. I will share again my window. Is there any question about the introduction and the general news? Okay, if there are no questions, I propose to move on with the update about the different working group. We can start with working group number 1, that is on the stack development. And I will ask to Mathieu to introduce this working group and describe the goals and the status.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So this working group is really about developing and any components that are needed into the stack and any tools to deploy the Sylva stack. And we have a good news to share with you, because we just pushed the code that we worked on previous months in open source. So everything is available publicly today. Maybe the main organization, I would say organization because it is a GitLab term, but the main project is into the Sylva core project, into Sylva project organization. So don't hesitate to look at this specific project. It's really about how to deploy the stack as it is today. And there is a README that introduces the various components that we put into the stack and how to use them and the building blocks that we rely on. So it will be really nice for any newcomers to start looking at it and start with it. We have two main subdirectories, I would say. We have the Sylva core project that I mentioned, and we also maintain a Sylva element section into the Sylva project organization, which is more about maintaining any side components that we have, such as charts, Docker images that we are generating, and then then we consume them into the stack. So anyway, most of the work is publicly available. We still have work to do to push some elements that are still missing, but it will come in the coming days. And we have to adapt the stack in the public repository for the CI to pass and for several things to fix to have something working from the public repository. So we are not releasing a first version of the stack for the moment. We still have some work to do to have something that can be more easier to deploy. But this is going to come soon now. We intend to have an onboarding meeting the 28th of February for any newcomer who want to deep dive into this stack, how to deploy it, better understand what components we rely on and how we use it. So anyone interested into better understanding technical details of the stack should attend this specific meeting, and it's going to be the first meeting of weekly meetings that we are going to have dedicated on the development of the Sylva stack. So I shared the Teams link into the wiki page. And so I encourage any newcomers, any new developers who want to play with the Sylva stack as it is today to attend this specific session.
Okay, thank you, Mathieu. Is there any question on this? Well, I believe this is. Yes, Tim, please.
Yeah, sorry, just real quickly. I haven't had the time to look through what's in the repository. Do we have a specification of what the underlying hardware and configuration is to run the stack as is today? How do I run this myself, basically, and what do I need for it?
No specific point about the hardware. We are testing it on top of virtualized infrastructure. Telecom Italia started to work on the deployment of clusters on top of bare metal. I think it's Dell bare metal that they are testing for the moment. But the work on deploying the CAS and the Sylva stack on top of bare metal is just only starting for the moment. So we don't have a strong opinion about how many resources are needed and what specific material is needed for deploying the stack.
Yeah, I was more thinking about like networking configuration, VLANs, any assumptions on separation. What are the adjacent services that need to be available, like DNS, file service, things like that.
Okay, so what we did so far is really about creating the mechanism to really deploy the stack and manage the lifecycle of the cluster based on cluster API and Flux. So this is really what the Sylva core is about today. So the only connectivities that we need between a workload cluster and a management cluster is an IP connectivity, so no need for any specific VLAN or any specific networking configuration. But it will probably come when we will start integrating RAN use cases are things that are strong requirements regarding the networking.
Okay, I
Yes.
see.
To be very specific, what's been published today should be pretty easy for you to run if you look at two specific ways of using Sylva Stack, which today is, let's say, quite mature for Sylva developers and has been for a few weeks. One flavor is the capd flavor, which deploys the Sylva Stack as with a single node Bootstrap cluster and a single node management cluster, and optionally a single node workload cluster locally on a development environment, which can be your laptop, for instance, or a VM that you would create somewhere. So capd is usable today without any strong requirement because everything is local. And the other flavor that we support and heavily use for development is the Capo framework, Capo flavor. So deploying on OpenStack. So mainly used today by developers at Orange, but also starting to be used by Telefonica. And this one requires a bit more preparation, but not much. Stuff like having the right image in Glance, some security groups, and some provider networks available, but we can also do the deployments on a tenant VXLAN-based networks. So, but we can assist on that and provide help via the Slack channel if you want details.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. That helps a lot.
You're welcome, Tim.
Is there any other question on this? Okay, so I believe we can move to the next working group. That is the working group number 2 on validation center. Okay. And I leave Luis to introduce this.
Okay, hello. Okay, this working group is the one devoted to test that the network functions can work on top of the Sylva stack. Now that we have a Sylva stack that can be deployed, we can actually start working with some network functions and do these validations. The status right now is that we have the first network function identified and we have already started the validating work with this one. Is the Nokia, the UDM from Nokia. We have the team already set up and it is in progress. We did just start the 1st of February, so this last week. There's not much progress to comment today. And the next things that we are doing is we are completing the installation of this this release that has been just commented into the validation platform in order to deploy this network function and start running the first basic functionality tests. We expect to complete this during February. Tomorrow we have the next validation center team meeting. We do one every 2 or 3 weeks, depending on the work. And there we will review the status, the specific status or what we are doing with this network function. And we will review the backlog where we have one additional proposal that we will start with that in this platform if it's finished after February, or if we create another platform in a new platform. We have to discuss tomorrow. So the status right now is we have a first network function to be validated. We are deploying the release that has been, the stack that has been just released, and we are starting the work on this network function to demonstrate that it can work on this stack. Not much progress to comment right now, and there's no decisions to be taken at this level at this point.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Luis. Do you have any question on this part? So, as there are no questions on WG2, let's move to WG3, that is on security requirement. Please, Théophile.
Yes, hello everyone. So on security requirements, so as a quick reminder, the objective of this work group is to specify features for the Sylva stack regarding the requirements of the UCS certification scheme from the European Union. So we finished the parsing of the requirements in the IAM, so Identity and Access Management part of those requirements. Now we just finished today the work on the encryption, cryptography, and key management requirements. And the next step will be, I think, the biggest part of the UCS requirements, which is the operational security requirements. So still work in progress. And yes, no more news for this stream today.
Okay, thank you, Théophile. Is there any question on the security part? No question. So let's move to the WG4 or on energy efficiency. The leader of this working group is Soundara, but I believe he is not here today. So
that is right. He's not here. I think he is not part of the original distribution of this meeting, and we bit on late short notice detected that he's missing, so that caused a conflict, unfortunately.
Anyway, no problem. I know that there is the kickoff meeting of this group planned next week. So actually, the work of this working group has not started, but there is already the kickoff planned for next week. Is it correct?
That is correct. So the work group is organizing itself, collecting the contributors, and defining the scope of work. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any question on energy efficiency? Okay. So the next one is WG5 on communication that had his kickoff meeting last week, and Andre from Self-Focus will give you some update.
Yeah, Andre asked us, told us that he was not here, so I let the floor to Nicolas.
Okay.
Maybe Nicolas, you can give a word.
I can do a quick quick
please.
summary. So guys, we had our kickoff on last Friday. So we've set up, the basics. So our weekly meetings, which will be on Thursdays. Currently, we have 4 fixed identified participants. So Andre from Self-Focus, David from Wind River, we have Raj from SUSE, and myself for Range. And I understood that the team will also add a participant.
Yes.
We will also be joined by a representative from the Linux Foundation Europe, who have some skills on marketing and communication. So it will speed up because currently we have a lot of engineers around the bridge. In terms, we started defining our objectives. So really, it's the overall objective is to help on the adoption. So first will be to communicate on the project and also on, let's say, more specific parts. So we already have a communication kit that I shared with the work group. The idea is to use that as a baseline, and enrich that communication kit. Specific focus on the roadmap, technical roadmap, and also the validation roadmap on the validation centers. So of course, the information will come from the technical groups for the technical roadmap, from the validation center group for the validation roadmap. But the role of the communication group would be to put that into a layout, a form that is visually attractive and easy to understand in order to communicate. So So I think, and there is a last point. We have the KubeCon event ahead of us. So the work group is offering its support to prepare the event, because I understood there is a demo and also a presentation. So we can offer the support for the visuals of this event. I think that's it for us.
Okay.
And we will use this support.
Okay. Pleasure.
Thank you, Nicola. Any question on this part? Okay. The last working group is the working group on governance. We already had the introduction of the CLA. Is there some other point to deal with, Théophile?
Yes. So for your information, the 7 companies that are the founding members of the Sylva community project, so the 7 voting members of this TSC, are currently exploring the opportunity to create what is called a directed fund within the Linux Foundation. So this directed fund could allow the Sylva project to cover its spendings. So the marketing, communication, events, licenses, all the developer tools we need, the CI capabilities we need, the maintenance for the validation platform and so on. So all those elements have a cost, and the 7 funding companies are looking to create a directed fund on which companies can put some money to cover those costs, those spendings for the project. So it's still under creation, it's still a work in progress. So we will update you with the news in the following TSCs.
Thank you, Théophile. Any question on this part? So, as a short summary of this TSC, I want to say that I believe that Sylva has reached a very important technical milestone with the release of the first public version of the stack. And we also have another important point is that is the approval of the CLA and the availability of the tool that allows companies to sign this CLA. So having both the first version of the software and the CLA, I believe we have reached the point where other companies that want to join the project have the possibility to join it. So in my view, this is really important because really opens the project to other participants. So any question on all the topics we have described during this meeting?
I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate Mathieu and the entire team on the release. Very considerable piece of work. Looking forward to dive in.
Okay, thank you very much. As the final, yes, please. Okay. As a final consideration, please consider that anyone is interested in the project and want to ask questions can send an email to Guillaume and me that as a co-chair will be very happy to answer. As usual, there will be minutes of this meeting that will be sent to you by email and will be available on the GitLab site. So if there are no other questions, I believe we can close the meeting. Thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you, Giuseppe.
Thank you. Bye, Giuseppe.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.